If you sleep like shit, if you're tired all the time, if you feel like you never wake up refreshed or feeling fantastic, then today's episode is for you. Yesterday we got into the topic of sleep and how sleep is the cheat code to more willpower, to more discipline, to more grit, to more determination, all the things that we love to talk about. It is your secret sauce to a better life. It falls under the trifecta of the three things that are going to drastically and irrevocably change your life. That are exercise, nutrition, sleep and recovery. So today I wanted to, get into the nitty-gritty, get into the protocols of the things that you can actually physically do to make a difference. Because I spoke yesterday about it, that it's this bit of this mind fuck of a thing that most people consider sleep to be this, I just lay my head down and here we go. Fantastic, we're off to the races, sleep. And don't get me wrong, it's one that fucks with my head as well, that to do things properly, even things that should come naturally in today's modern world, requires effort. It requires focus, it requires routine. It probably requires discipline. And it's a mind fuck because it's like, no, you just go to sleep. No, actually, you need to have systems and protocols in place to optimize your sleep. It's the same with managing emotions. You don't just wake up and manage your emotions. No, you need to learn methods to be aware of it, to be aware of your subconscious programming, to be aware of how you react to things, how, those subconscious biases impact your life, how your habitual habits impact your life. You need to make clear and definitive decisions around these things. Unfortunately, these things require work, but anything that is of value in life, any of the things that are going to have a positive impact require at least a concentrated effort. It doesn't need to be hard, but it needs to be a concentrated effort. And sleep falls under that category. We don't just, fall the fuck asleep and know that that's going to be good enough. Just look at how many people have problems with sleep, have sleep apnea, have all these kinds of things, and they get onto machines and require assistance or sleeping pills or all these kind of stuff to get good night's sleep. And yet, a lot of those things could be avoided and produce actual, proper, phenomenal sleep by making good definitive choices from the get-go. So today I wanted to run through the different options of things that you can implement yourself. And there is a wide spectrum of it, of things that you can do depending on what you feel might be the issue that's holding back your sleep. Whether it's the physiological, whether it's the way your body functions itself, whether it's the hormone release, whether it's the psychological, what are the things that are impacting your sleep? There are different protocols and different options that we can take. So I'm just going to run through a whole series of different things. I'm going to give you a bit of, a background of why we would do these things, and then you can pick and choose. I would recommend that if you are going to undertake these ones, you choose one or two and slowly add on. And there are a few different reasons for this. One of them being, it can feel overwhelming. It can feel like a lot. It can feel like, holy shit, what am I, doing here? I've now got 101 different things that I need to do just to go to sleep at night. And that can make it feel like a chore. And we don't want it to end up being a chore. You still want to have a good, relaxing sleep, but if you then put too much pressure on the idea of having a nice, relaxing sleep, you can get into a self-deprivating cycle. And it's this vicious cycle that just goes round and round and round. So we need to find the balance on those things and make sure that we are doing the best. And on top of that, you also need to make sure that you know what the things that are actually delivering the results. It's like if you had a medical condition and you were like, oh my God, I need pharmaceutical intervention, and you take 10 different, medications. How do we know which of the medications actually dealt with the problem? You don't. So we need to make sure we're building this up over time so that you are aware and can be cognizant of what's actually, creating the change, what's actually causing you to feel better, to get better sleep, and then you can double down on those things or, remove things that aren't actually providing the answer. As I said, it depends on what's causing your sleep abnormalities. Is it the psychological? Is it the physiological? Is it the hormones? Like, what's causing these issues here? Let's try and, by process of elimination, get them out and get you to functioning at your best. So the first one I like the most because I find more often than not it hits the mark. More often than not it just knocks it out of the park and you feel like $1,000,000 fucking bucks. But it can be daunting. And it can be weird and people freak the fuck out about it. I even told my doctor about it the other day because when I was having, this is one of the reasons why I like to talk about it, because I have problems with sleep. I have insomnia. And that's due to a condition I have called EDS. But still, it's why I make sure that I do my absolute best to be on top of my sleep and do the protocols that we do. Anyway, he was probing in and he was like, oh, I wonder if you have sleep apnea. And we got into it and he's like, do you snore? And I was like, well, if I tape my mouth shut, no, I don't. And he's like, tape your mouth shut? You mean your nose? You tape your nose open? I'm like, no, I mean tape my mouth shut. And he's like, I've never heard of anyone doing that. And I was like, really? It's all over the place. There are even brands of it. You can get hostage tape or things like that are specifically designed for that purpose. To be honest, I don't fuck with that. I like cheap and effective on those situations, so I just buy medical tape. And it's like little white porous tape, and it's what they use to tape down catheters or things like that. Or if you have a bandage or things like that, they use it on that. It's really soft and gentle, and it can be torn really easily. And you can buy like 100 meters for like $9 off Amazon. That ticks my box perfectly. You just, you get a strip, you tear it off, put it over your mouth. I like to keep the edges of my mouth open, because that then gives me the opportunity that if I can't breathe through my nose and I need something to give me the capacity to do that, I have that as a option. If I feel like my nose gets blocked or something like that, I can just quick breath out the side and, I'm not going to feel like I'm suffocating myself. But this is such an effective one. And I'm someone who has had congestion problems for a lot of my life. I have a deviated septum. I've had all these kind of problems. So breathing through my nose isn't something that comes naturally to me. So I have to force the situation. And I force the situation by taping my mouth shut. And what this does is forces you to breathe through your nose. And this is a really massive thing that matters. As I'm sure you've seen, and it's another great option, is the nose tape. The ones that, opens up the nose so that you breathe more deeply through the nose. Great option as well. But I find that the mouth tape works best. If you combine the two, you're off to the fucking races there. But what the mouth tape does is forces you to breathe through your nose. And what that does is shifts you out of fight or flight into a calm state. So mouth breathing, as it should be, the derogatory term that comes with it, that that person's a mouth breather. The reason why that's a negative thing, and it is, and something that you should try and avoid at all costs, is because mouth breathing is meant for, fighting or fleeing. It should be that you need maximum amount of oxygen as humanly possible, and is ramping you up, and so you get this not cortisol, adrenaline dump, and you get this massive spike, and it's like, it should be used for that you are max effort, working, pushing yourself. That's when you need to breathe through your mouth. Rest of the time, you should be breathing through your nose, especially at sleep, especially at rest. It should be through the nose. It should be calming. It should be relaxing. It should be all of those kinds of things. And this is where we need to end up. This is where we need to be, well, settling ourselves down. And if you snore, I can nearly guarantee you that your wife will thank me. She'll send me a gift basket if you tell her that Lachlan Farley from Chasing Greatness told you to tape your mouth shut. That snoring is going to go. You're going to sleep better, you're going to have more restful, you're going to be in a calm state, you're going to stop snoring, you're going to have less disruptions of your sleep overnight, you're going to have less waking incidents, you're going to have all these kinds of things. It's going to kick you into that calming state, which will allow you to wake up more refreshed. All this kind of stuff. It's why it's my number one go-to. I know it feels daunting, it can make people feel claustrophobic, but it will be a game changer. You will feel so much fucking better. For $9 or fucking Amazon, sleep is suddenly this beautiful, delightful thing. And I can tell, and my wife notes on the days that I forget to tape my mouth shut, that it is night and day different. And that's why, amongst many reasons, why I fucking hate when I get sick. Because when I get all congested, I can't do it. And I sleep like shit. Because I'm mouth breathing and I wake up with that tacky taste in my mouth and all that kind of stuff. It is no bueno. No bueno. And so that would be my first recommendation. That would be the place that I would strongly recommend that you start at. The other ones, in terms of creating the best possible environment for your sleep, is that you don't want it to be too hot. You actually want it to be semi-cool, because cooler is actually a better state. It's one of those weird things of, in terms of getting a good night's sleep, people think that they want to be hot and they want to be rugged up, they want the electric blanket, they want all that kind of stuff. No, you actually want to be in a reasonably cool state, and you want to allow your core temperature to cool down. So if you're cooking yourself throughout the night, that'll actually cause other problems. They found that the optimal temperature is about 18 degrees. And that will open you up to, well, have a really good night's sleep. Now, if you find that you're getting too cold during that, that's when you have blankets and those kinds of things. But 18 degrees is about the optimal situation for you. Then on top of that, weird things like, well, wearing socks to bed. And what that does is it stops you losing too much heat in that cooler environment overnight without superheating your internal temperature. So we lose a lot of our heat from our head and from our feet, and so wearing socks is one of the best options on that. And then weird ones like people who sleep naked for whatever reason. I can't remember the exact reasoning they gave in the study, but people who sleep naked, especially with their partners, have better connection to their wives, have better connections overall, better relationships, and have deeper sleep. Go figure. And I don't know about you guys, but comfortability wise, I don't understand how you can sleep in clothes. It just does not work for me. I need to be naked. And yeah, so there are great benefits to doing that. Personally, I don't like the socks, but if you're finding that you are getting too cold and you need to keep that as a better option, that is the socks. The socks are the answer. Other things that you can add in are, you want your room to be as dark as possible. Now, blackout curtains have really come a long way. They're no longer as cost prohibitive as they used to. You can go to places like Spotlight, or you can buy them on Amazon or online. They're usually only about $100, maybe $200 or $300. It will make a massive difference if you sleep in a totally dark room. And it needs to be as dark as you can make it. That's a really important factor. You really need to be finding all the sources of light and blocking them out. So block out the lights from your windows, even if you have, shades or Venetians or whatever you have. Block out as much light as possible. Make it super, super dark, and really try and bring that down. The other thing is make sure there aren't artificial lights, like, off TVs or phones or whatever it might be. Make sure you aren't getting other sources of artificial light into your system. You want to remove as much as possible. You then, on top of that, want to have as minimal electronics in your room as humanly possible. If you can not have your phone in your room, do that. Don't have TVs in your room. Don't have other things. Legitimately, you want to remove as many electronics as you can to allow it to calm down and not be interfering with you, especially things like Wi-Fi. Do not have Wi-Fi portals or modems in your bedroom. And if you can, look, I haven't done that one. I rely on my phone for my alarm, but optimally, it would be that you have a analog alarm clock and your phone is in another room. But failing that, bare minimum, make sure that it is not right next to your head and that you put your phone on airplane mode. We don't want that constant bombardment of signals coming into your room as you're sleeping. So adding that in is a really, really important factor as well. And then the last one is that your bedroom should be for sleep and sex. That's it. Don't have a TV in there. Don't doom scroll. Don't do other things in there. Your bedroom needs to be an association of we either sleep or we have sex, and then that's it. Those should be the only two things that you associate your bedroom with. If you're adding other stimulus into it, you are creating, rhythms around other things that you don't want to have there, associations that you don't want to have there. Even if it's, the stimulation from the TV, yeah, it can feel relaxing, but it's actually sedating and it releases these dopamine hits. So you now start associating with dopamine hits of that, which will not give you the relaxing and the calming notion that you're actually looking for. So take the TV out of the room, make sure you're not like lying in bed, doom scrolling, all that kind of stuff. You want to really make it that your bedroom is that sanctuary and that's all it's for. Sex and sleep. Nothing else. And I know there are a lot of people that find that a difficult thing, but you will find that when you create clear distinctions and separations on that, well, your life will get better, your sleep will get better, things will improve on that front. So I would really make a conscious effort to make that the case. And then following on from that, you want to create a routine with that. So not only in the notion of when you go to sleep and when you wake up, but a routine of this signals to your brain and it creates a habitual thing of we are winding down, we are going to bed, we are going to have a good night's sleep. But the first one is you need to go to bed at roughly the same time every single night, and you need to get up roughly at the same time every single morning. I know that's rough, especially if you are someone who has to be an early riser like myself. Like often I'm at work or working out at 6 a.m. pretty much 6 days a week. So on Sunday, I like to sleep in. But you're actually doing yourself a disservice. You're actually causing yourself more harm and fucking with your sleep and your circadian rhythms by doing that. So you want to actually focus more on consistency, and you'll find over time that you'll have more energy because your body will go, oh, it's 10 o'clock, we're going to sleep. Oh, it's 5 a.m., we are waking up, or whatever it might be, and you just have these consistent patterns. Then on top of that, you want to, as I said, you want to create a routine around actually going to sleep. So I don't mind what that looks like. That's going to be personalized to you, but you need to have a sequence of events. And it's like, maybe it's a sleepy time tea, and then you sit in the lounge room and you read a fantasy book in a specific chair, and then, you go to the toilet, and then you lay down, and once you're in bed, you go through a series of meditations, visualizations, anything along those lines that'll wind your body and mind down, and then you go to sleep. These are the kind of things that we're looking to create. We're looking to find a way to get that body to settle down, to get that body to calm itself and have a routine that you go, oh, okay, this is what we're doing. And, you know, you can create a sleep track visualization. And it's like, go through a series of things. How you're going to, you know, how you see life, or good thoughts, or gratitude, or something like that. Create a routine on that so that your body then calms itself down. And setting it up with the routine plus the circadian rhythms, you'll be shocked at how much of a difference that makes. Now, if your circadian rhythms are truly fucked, a really great way to do it, if you have the capacity, and I will say that, because I will recognize that there is a certain level of privilege that comes with it, of being able to get out in nature and fully disconnect for minimum of 3 days, ideally 7. No technology, no artificial light, just campfires and daylight, and just allow your body to reconnect with nature and what should be. Because we should have it as, we get up with the sun, we go to bed with the sun. Look, in a modern world, that's not a practical thing, especially in winter. Like, it's just not a practical setup. And I do fully recognize that. But the more you can get it to that situation, the better off it'll be. So if you can spend 3 to 7 days resetting your circadian rhythm on that front, that'd be a really great way to do it. Now, I've gone in, I haven't even scratched the surface. I've got so much more to cover on this. So I'm going to end it here today, and I'm going to do the next couple of episodes on the different ones. So we can go then into the supplementation, we can go into the mental capacity ones as well, and we'll cover all of that. That's a bit of the physiological side of things, and we can go into the next ones there. But if you want to just skip ahead and, you know, make sure that you get the full low down, the whole thing, what you can do is shoot me a message. We'll get into Chasing Greatness Daily. And part of that is you'll get access to my full sleep protocol and recovery protocol included within the program. So if you want to just jump straight ahead into that, shoot me a message. Let's get you into Chasing Greatness Daily, and let's kickstart you into the greatest phase of your entire life. Now, if you're not quite there yet, click the link in my bio, grab my top 10 tools to transform your mental toughness. Lastly, if this spoke to you, if you enjoyed it, if you know someone who needs to hear this, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. But most importantly, hit the subscribe button, because as I said, I'm going to go into this deeper. I've got probably at least 1, if not 2, potentially 3 more episodes to cover on this topic. And you don't want to fucking miss a single one of those. So hit the subscribe button, because I'm going to be back again tomorrow, and I want to make sure you get it. But until then, I'll talk to you soon.